You have a dual-screen Android device like the AYN Thor here, and you want to make a game for it using Unity. Let's get you started. So let's jump right into Unity. So for the top screen of the game, I want that to be just the game, and the bottom screen, I want to be just UI. To set that up, I have a simple player and a level here, and we have the main camera. I'm going to rename this to Game Camera. Let's make a new camera by right-clicking in the hierarchy and selecting Camera, and name this UI Camera. I'm going to drag them next to each other. I'm just going to place them underneath the global volume. So we want to be able to see both of these screens at the same time. So on the game window over here, I'm going to right click and add a tab, Game. And I'm going to drag the second one beneath the first one and resize them a bit so that way they're a bit larger. To the bottom one, I can change the display to display 2. We see there's no camera. Since we made the UI camera, we could select that and we could scroll down to the bottom. Under Output, we have Target Display. We could change it to Display 2. So now they're both showing the game. Under the Environment Background Type of the UI camera, we could change the skybox to be a solid color, but it still sees the game. So if we scroll up a little bit to Rendering, Culling Mask, Everything, we want to select Nothing, then just the UI. So that'll remove everything that's not UI. So now we want to add a UI that they can use. So we have UI, and I'm going to add a button with Text Mesh Pro. Import that if you need to. I'm going to make this a jump button. I'm going to write the text on it. I'm going to make it say jump. And I'm going to make this so it auto sizes with Text Mesh Pro, and I'll adjust these sizes a little bit. The button itself, I want to be centered on the canvas. So I'll select the button, change these to be the center, and I want this button to be maybe 300 by 300. And we see it's quite large and on the first screen. If we go to the canvas, we see it set to screen space overlay. And you could set the target display here to be 2 if you want. I'm going to change the screen space overlay to screen space camera, and then I'm going to drag in the UI camera from there. So now we see that bottom screen shows the UI still, and we set the camera. It is the wrong size though, but that's because of the canvas scaler being constant pixel size. Change that to scale with screen size. The bottom screen on the AYN Thor I'm using is 1240 by 1080. And I'm going to set that to match half the width and half the height. So these screens have different aspect ratios. The top one is a 16 by 9 landscape, and the bottom one is 8 by 7. To add a new one, you could set this by using the plus. You can add some text for the label and change the type to aspect ratio. And the screen is 8 by 7 in my case. So now we have our button, our player, and our level. Let's take a look at how the player works. So I have 3 different example scripts here for different types of input, and we're going to go over them. So first we have our player controller, and the player controller is set to use the player input from the new input system. So I have to set up on move and on jump. So if I go back to the player, if I scroll down, here's our player input. I'm going to leave the default scheme as any, but the default map, I'm going to change to player. And the behavior, I'll set it to invoke Unity events. So the events here, we're actually looking for some that aren't listed right now. I find that it fixes it if you just click off of it and click back onto it. Because now under events, we have the player UI. That's what we needed. We need to drag the player in if it's already not. Yours should not be, mine was. And we can go to player controller, and we can do on move. And if I scroll down to jump, I can add this here as well. I can drag the player in, and I can select player controller on jump. And since we're using the default actions that are set up, the player controller here has all of these different actions. So we're using move and jump. And move is set up to use the left stick. WASD. Jump is using the space or the south button. So if we hit play, you can see I'm able to move around and jump. However, we're not able to press the jump button yet. And like I said, this is a really simple player, nothing to it. So the jump button, if we scroll down in there, the on click, we can add in our player, function, player controller, on jump. So now if we press play, between 2 different screens, we're going to be able to move around. And then we can also press the jump button and it jumps. And I did not care if you were on the ground, it would allow you to jump anyway. So both work. Let's see how this looks on the Thor itself. So over here on the Thor, we see that the south button is able to jump, and we're able to move around with the joystick. And we're able to jump with the jump button, And I found that sometimes this bottom screen doesn't work unless you press this button here and then close it. I find it doesn't work a lot of times without that. But there's also a problem with this kind of input. If we're moving around at the same time as we're trying to touch the touchscreen, it'll actually switch between the input. For example, let me go from left to right while touching the touchscreen. And we see that it stops immediately until it repolls for a different change on the joystick. So it'll keep polling for the different inputs. So it doesn't quite work. Because for a game where we want the touchscreen to work and the game at the same time, this is not going to be an option. So let's go look at a different type of input that we can use. So back here in Unity, we're going to take a look at the next input. I'm going to turn off the player controller, and I'm going to turn off the player input. We're going to turn on the player control delegate script. And I'll need to set the UI camera here. So if I open up this is what we have. It's almost the same as what we had, but we're doing things a bit more manually. So we're using delegates to subscribe to the event on awake, and we're using them to unsubscribe on disable. So because of this, we need to be able to get the player controls, and then we're using that here. We're setting in new controls, and we're doing, in this case, onMove performed and onMove canceled. Since each of these have a start, performed, and cancel, we're going to be using those. So onMove performed is when we start moving, and while we are moving, onMove canceled is when we stop having that movement. And it's the same for onJump in this case. Using it this way, let's take a look at how it works on the Thor. So here we have the second way of doing this. We're using the delegates. So we see we're still able to move around and jump. And when we press jump, this time it doesn't work. If I open and close the screen, now it'll work. For some reason. Haven't figured that one out. But if I'm moving around and I'm touching the touchscreen, we see that it seems unaffected. So this allows us to use both at once. So this is one way we can do this, by using the delegates. Back in Unity here, there's a third way that I found to do this. So let's turn off the delegates, and we can pull the input directly. If I set these values to match what we had for the previous one, let's take a look at the polling. So in here, we're just reading the input directly. So we're getting the controls, the move action, and the jump action, and then we're using them. Down here, we're setting it equal to something. So in this case, we're getting the player move controls, and we're setting that input action there. And then we're using the input action in the fixed update or in the onJump function. And doing it this way, it's very similar to what we had once we were running the delegate script. So now with the direct polling, we see like before, we can't press that until we press this twice. Now we're able to press this. And because of the way I have this set up, it jumps way too high. But we can still move around and use the touchscreen at the same time without losing control of our player. Taking a look at Unity's page here, we can see that we have actions, actions and player input, and direct. So in our case, actions worked. Instead of doing it this way that they show here, where they're setting these by finding them with a string, we're just using delegates to get them instead. So you can use this as an example as well. The action and player input is the one that did not work. For some reason, using this player input component makes it so that way it does not work. My best guess is that when it switches between the touchscreen and controller inputs mapping, it does something there where it turns off for a moment, so it stops allowing both at the same time, but we need that. Unless you're designing a game that doesn't need that, you won't be able to use this. And you also have the ability to use the directly reading device states, but this loses the actions and interactions, and your input bindings are hard-coded to your script. Now going back here, I wanted to show something else as well. I'm going to use the, in this case, delegate script, and we're going to add to it. I want to add a way for us to switch the screens at will. So the top screen I want to display on the bottom, and the bottom on the top. In our code here, all we have to do is add something like this. I'm going to use the onAttack function just as a default, since it's already here for us. So what I've added here is I'm using the UI camera and seeing if it's active. Because if we have that bottom screen active, we're on a double screen device. We'll handle single screen devices soon. So I'm using ternary here to set the game camera target display. I'm asking the question, is the target display the top screen? And if it's true, set it to the bottom screen, and if it's false, set it to the top screen. So that would be like an if statement, but just using ternary. And we do the same for the UI camera. And that's why at the top here, you may have noticed these. I had two integers for the top screen and the bottom screen. You could have also just written in here a 0 or a 1 directly. But just to make it so that way it has a name so it's easier to read. So using this on attack now, since I'm using delegates, I need to set that up. And I realized I wrote that in the wrong script. This one's delegates. Let's put that there instead. So now we need to set this up. So I need to add controls.player.attack, and we're going to do performed plus equals and on attack. And I forgot to have the input context in there. So now with that input context, now it's not giving an error. So let's also unsubscribe from it. So let's do the same thing, but subtract it. We can copy that, put it in here, and minus to unsubscribe. So with this, we're changing the camera from one screen to the other. Let's try that out. We press play here, and now we need to use the attack button. And the attack button by default in the setup is enter on the keyboard. So we're able to flip between the two screens. And if you press the jump button, it doesn't work. But that's because also set up under the player controls is attack is also when we press the left mouse button. So I'm going to delete that for a sec. Now with that deleted, we'll press play again. And now we can press enter to swap the screens. And if I press jump, it doesn't matter which screen it's on, it lets me jump. And it does a little jump there because when it's selected, I press enter, it picks the button as well.
And just to show it working on here, the attack button is the west button. So when you press Y, it changes. And also just to show you, if you swipe down from the top and change the controller style to standard, it will also change which buttons do what. So in this case, B used to jump, now it does nothing. And Y used to change the screen, but now it does nothing. So if we do A, it'll jump, and X will flip those screens. So just be aware of which setting it is set to. It might change which button it is using.
So with that being able to swap between the two screens, we want to make it so that way we have the option of setting the camera for different devices. So if I play this as a Windows game, I don't want the bottom screen. And if this is an Android game, I want to make sure that bottom screen is on. Let's go back to our script. So to have the different builds know how many cameras they should have on, or what functionality you want between them, we need to use conditional compilation using directives. To set that up, we could do something like this. So in this case, I'm making a new function called set active cameras. And just so that way you could see it, we're going to first check if it's the Unity editor. If this is being played in the editor, it's just going to write into the console Unity editor. If it's a standalone Windows version, it's going to say Windows build. We're going to have it turn off the UI camera. And the game camera, we're making sure it's set to the top screen. And then if it's an Android build, we're going to say Android build. The UI camera is going to be turned on. And the game camera is going to be set to the top screen. And the UI camera set to the bottom screen. To show this working, I'm going to turn this on. And I'm going to say that both are going to display on the top screen. So then I need to make it so that way this function is being used. We'll put this into awake. And now back in Unity, let's see what it does. Once we press play, the screen's automatically swapped to have both showing on the top screen. And we see it says Unity Editor. Now we see that the UI covers up the screen. So if you had UI that you wanted to show on the top screen, but you didn't want to have it cover the game, we just go over here to the canvas and change this back to overlay. That's where that would have been. But then you need to make sure you're changing the target display here to 1. You would also have to make sure that your game camera has a higher priority. We see the priority here set to -1. If we set this to 10, it's now in front of that blank background. And I can see that the jumping still works, it just blocks the screen. And there's a Unity page here on that for the conditional compilation. Here's an example of them. And if you wanted more of them, you can come to the Unity scripting symbol reference for the platform symbols. So that should be most things you need to know in order to get this going. Something to know is that if you're making a game for 2 screens and you want players to be able to play it on stream and things like that, currently there's only able to output the main screen on a capture device. They can locally record the other one on the device. I'm not sure if they can do both at once, I have not tested it, but they won't be able to show both screens at the exact same time, which may be an issue. Be aware of that for now. That seems to be an Android problem, so maybe there'll be an app that will be able to do that eventually. But for now, currently we can't do that. The code and the assets used here are going to be available on GitHub in the link below, along with the Unity docs that we looked at. If you like my content and want to keep up with future updates, press the subscribe button, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Not only helps me, but helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have a good one. Bye.